too.
The references to where to buy guns and the communications with others to.
Okay, so is it illegal so if I post on Facebook myself, I'm asking your opinion because you're asking the court to, believe that you're in fear based on posts that are justice posts. He's trying to bring awareness to an issue, and of course you're in it. You're in the issue, but I'm trying to connect the dots myself and figure out how you are reaching to the point of, a pattern of conduct and cause the belief that Mr. Up will cause physical harm to you. So that's why I'm asking you: is there a direct threat in any of those posts?
I believe that all these posts in culmination with my name in them and communication with others are threats to me.
But people do that all the time on Facebook. Is that correct?
I can't answer that.
You're on Facebook quite a bit. You have a Facebook profile?
I do to use for.
How often are you on Facebook?
Not very.
How many hours a day do you spend on Facebook?
Objection, relevance.
Not very many.
And these posts, are you seeking these posts? Are you watching Mr. Utt's profile?
I have seen them over the past. They've been shared with me. They've been communicated with me. They've been
These
sent to me.
hashtags that are in here by Mr. Utt, these are his posts. There's no doubt about it, okay? We're not denying that. But these hashtags, they're not directly, they don't go to your account. Is that correct? So if he puts a hashtag in here, it's not pinging your account in Facebook.
I don't think so.
So you're having to seek these out. You're having to look for these messages right here.
I've seen them.
I get it. The court understands that. Your attorneys have presented them as exhibits. What I'm trying to get at is Mr. Utt, I'm trying to see the connection where he's actually tagged you in these posts, or because in Facebook, you're on Facebook, right? You can tag somebody, right?
I don't use Facebook in that manner. I don't post on my own Facebook. I post on my school's Facebook.
And your testimony is that you don't get on Facebook very often and don't know how to use it, but every exhibit is about Facebook by your attorneys.
I don't tag Facebook. I don't comment on Facebook. I post on our school's Facebook page.
All right, can I ask you, your closing comments, you said that you didn't know what he will do next. That was your words. Can you explain that? How not knowing what somebody will do next puts you in fear?
Because everything that's led up over the last year and a half that continues from one step to the next, that started down this process when he started coming to my place of employment, coming by my place of employment, 6 feet away from where I stand. And from then, these posts and these actions and being in our school grounds last week is concerning.
Do you know for a fact that Mr. Utt was the one that posted the signs that just appeared this week and last week?
I don't know that for a fact, but I know for a fact where they came from, where they originated
Is
from.
it illegal to make signs?
Objection, that asks for a legal conclusion. He's here to testify as a fact witness.
Response.
If Mr. Utt didn't have your name on the signs, would you still be concerned?
If my name was not on any signs or hashtags or post about my family, I would not be concerned. That's the whole reason I am concerned.
So I'm going to be a little bit meticulous here because your counsel decided to divide these up, one exhibit at a time on Facebook posts. So I'm going to take them one at a time. I want to start with Exhibit 1. I want you to please look at Exhibit 1. Do you have Exhibit 1, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me in Exhibit 1 what makes you concerned for your safety?
The fact that he feels my wife maliciously prosecuted him and kids end up in foster care.
How does that make you concerned for your safety?
That someone who feels that they've lost their children and blames my wife.
And so, in your opinion, Mr. Utt doesn't have a right to feel that way?
I can't speak to it.
Okay, I'm going to move on, because that's Exhibit 1, and that's what you think is threatening, okay? So we'll move on to Exhibit 2. Please review Exhibit 2. And can you answer the same question? Can you please tell me in Exhibit 2 what in this writing by Mr. Utt makes you concerned for your safety?
Again, where he feels she maliciously prosecuted him with false charges and his kids end up in foster care.
Okay, we'll do the same thing for Exhibit 3. What about Exhibit 3 makes you concerned for your safety?
That he feels that killing a judge is a hero.
Is Mr. Utt entitled to feel that way?
I can't speak to it.
But you're asking the court to believe that you're in fear because of the way he feels.
He feels my wife sold his kids into foster care and it's okay to murder public officials.
Does he mention you or your wife in Exhibit 3?
Nobody's mentioned them in multiple other Facebook posts.
So you think it's okay for you to censor what he posts on Facebook?
I feel it's an issue when it involves my family and our safety, yes.
Tell me how Exhibit 3 mentions or involves your family. I need to know how you're getting to that conclusion.
The previous two posts mention that my wife is...
We're talking about Exhibit 3. They were handed to your attorney, handed to the court individually as separate exhibits. I'm talking about Exhibit 3.
Your Honor, Mr. Burre was in the process of answering the question when counsel cut off his question. I would like Mr. Burre to be able to answer the question before another question is asked.
We'll take the questions one at a time, but you'll have a chance to cross-examine. So.
Exhibit 3. Please focus on Exhibit 3 and tell me how this post references your family. Can you point to the words, please?
Does not reference my family.
Thank you. We'll move on. Exhibit 4. Same thing. Take a second to read it and then tell me where it references your family and how it threatens you.
The signs with our name on it.
Is that it? I'm waiting. Is that the rest of your answer?
What was the question?
The same as the other ones. How does this Facebook post, I need you to look at the writing, okay? And then look at the pictures that are referenced here and tell me how this post threatens you directly or your family members directly?
He's seeking justice from my family.
So do you know what the signs mean in this picture?
I don't know what they mean.
Okay, but you just answered that Exhibit 4, that the signs threaten you, but you're answering now that you don't know what they mean.
I don't know.
So I'm trying to get to that conclusion. Can you help me?
I don't know what justice means to him. I know that he is seeking justice from my family. I don't know what justice to him means. Justice to me can mean a lot of things. Physical harm is one of them.
Justice, would you agree that justice also means like today in this courtroom?
Sure.
Okay, good. Let's look at Exhibit 5. Do you know where this picture was taken? Do you know where this location is?
I think it's 6th Avenue. Fair Avenue or 6th Avenue? Fair 6th Avenue.
Okay. And then, I can't read these pictures on this, but, so we're assuming that those signs say, I don't know, I can't read them. That you testified to this, that the signs, okay, let's just look at the writing at the top. Please tell me how that writing by Mr. Utt is a direct threat to you or your family.
He's posting justice for my name and mentioning to people where to buy guns and ammo in town.
And Mr. Utt's reference to buying guns and ammo, can you please read that last line?
If anyone needs guns or ammo in Lancaster, Ditmar Sales is the place to buy them.
And how are you perceiving that as a threat?
He is seeking justice for my family and telling people where to buy guns.
Is this address near your work?
Probably within a mile or so.
But it's in a public place? To your knowledge, is it in a public place?
Public place as far as?
I mean, it's not near your office, as you mentioned earlier. You're in school. It's on a public roadway, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Go to Exhibit 6, please. Read that and then tell me, please, how that information written by Mr. Utt threatens your family.
There's a picture of a sign seeking justice for my family with what appears to me bullet holes of blood coming out.
Is that blood or paint?
Don't know.
Do the signs or the writing on Exhibit 6 threaten your family directly?
Yes.
How?
Seeking justice for my family with blood on them.
You said earlier on Exhibit 6, you said you perceive the red dots as blood.
Yes.
So do you perceive anything red to be blood?
No.
So explain to me how you perceive these red paint dots as blood.
For someone who has made over hundreds of posts seeking justice for my family, who has mentioned that heroes shoot and kill public officials, who has mentioned a place to buy guns and ammo, is now posting signs that I perceive would be blood.
Exhibit 7. Do you recognize where these signs were posted? Do you know this location?
Not from the picture.
Okay. How does this, again, I'm going to ask you again, how do these pictures and the writing by Mr. Utt at the top threaten your family directly
seeking justice from my family in a public place, assuming public roadway, that with what looks to be bullet holes and blood.
Do you know who posted these signs?
I do not. I know where they originated from.
How do you know that you know where they originated from?
He's made multiple posts, but he's buying them and handing them out, and he's been seen handing them out.
Are you aware that Mr. Utt has other people that are following this cause that want justice?
I would suppose so.
Exhibit 8, same thing, please. How does the writing or the picture, in your opinion,
Seeking justice for my family to me, blood and bullet holes and a sign.
Exhibit 9, same thing, please read that. Same question. How does this post directly threaten your family? You mentioned your wife, you have your kids on the CPO.
Posting documents of a minor child's case. Posting on here things that are not true. Is rallying up his followers, the militia that he's referenced he's armed.
What makes you think Mr. Utt has a militia?
There was it's in one of these exhibits.
What in this exhibit makes you, or these exhibits make you think he has a militia?
I think it was in one of these. It was stated his followers.
You're a principal. I'm sure you know what the definition of a militia is. A militia is an armed organization. And I need to know how you know that Mr. Utt has a militia. You just mentioned that.
Because he stated in one of these exhibits that he's spent the last couple of years arming everyone he knows.
How do you get from that to a militia? I don't understand that conclusion.
I'd have to find the exhibit.
I'll move on. Exhibit 10, please.
Let the witness answer the question.
Well, he said
You
he didn't know.
asked a question, he's looking for the exhibit. Let him look for the exhibit.
Exhibit 12 says, if you're reading this, you are my militia, and if I'm ever jailed unlawfully, I expect armed protests. The sentence above that says, I don't fear not owning a weapon because I've spent my last decade arming almost everyone I know. If you're reading this, you are my militia. If I'm ever jailed unlawfully, I expect armed protests.
Exhibit 10. Is this picture here? You recognize this picture, right?
Yes.
Tell me what this picture is.
So, Mr. driving his van with his signs through our campus. Dismissal time, two loops through. It's about probably the third or fourth day that he done this within a week's time.
Who took this picture?
Maybe one of my assistant principals. Not exactly sure.
And your notes at the top. You made those notes yourself, or someone else made those notes?
I read those.
Okay. When did you make these notes?
That day.
And did you make this note based on what someone told you and when they took the picture, or?
No, I saw it.
You just testified that You don't know who took this picture.
One of my assistant principals, I believe, took the picture, but I saw him drive by at these times.
Is this the only only time that Mr. Utt was seen driving by your high school?
No.
Is that road that he's driving on a public road?
I believe so. But I stand on this sidewalk at the end of this grass. Comes back through the loop, about 6 feet away from me.
So, are you normally outside when there's student drop-off and return at Lancaster?
Dismissal.
At dismissal? Is it normal for parents to drive by? That kids go to that school?
That are picking up their children, yes. Not that aren't picking up their children, it's not normal.
So it's not okay for a parent to drive by the school anytime they want to?
You asked me if it was normal for parents to drive by that aren't picking up their students. I don't think that is normal.
Would it be unnormal if somebody drove by?
At that time, most of the people that are driving by are picking up students or leaving the campus.
Is that the only people that drive by? People that are picking up their children?
I'd say no. It's the majority of them.
What in this picture threatens you?
Him driving within 6 feet of me.
So where would you be standing in this picture?
On the other side of the street by the grass.
Now approach the witness, Your Honor.
There's a sidewalk.
I need you to show me that.
There's a sidewalk right here. Right, all the way down here, the sidewalk.
You said he drove by within 6 feet, is that correct?
He came back around and came up this way out the.
Okay.
Up the hill.
Where are you in this picture?
I'm not in the picture.
But you just mentioned, your testimony was that him driving by within 6 feet of you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get to 6 feet. Can you please show me where 6 feet is and where you were standing?
I stand right here on this sidewalk, and he comes up this road going the opposite way.
So what you're saying is, and I'll clarify this, you're saying that even though you're not in the picture, you were there.
I was at this point probably in my office, but I was there the other day when he drove by.
And you noticed it when this picture was taken, or you didn't?
Yeah, I saw it. I saw him drive.
I'm going to skip Exhibit 11 because we're going to come back to that. I'm going to just keep going over all these Facebook posts and then we'll go to Exhibit 11. Exhibit 12. Please take a second to read that and tell me what is a direct threat to you.
It's got a hashtag with my name in it, and it says I don't fear not owning a weapon because I spent the last decade arming almost everyone I know. If you're reading this, you're my militia. If I'm ever jailed unlawfully, I expect armed protests.
In this post, does Mr. Utt reference you or your family?
Yes.
Where?
It says hashtag justice for Burre.
How does a hashtag directly threaten your family?
When you post that hashtag hundreds of times and you reference my wife maliciously prosecuting you or selling your kids into foster care, you reference heroes shoot and kill public officials, and you reference you're arming a militia with my name and a hashtag.
Were you coached by your attorneys before coming in here and what to say?
Objection.
I'll move on, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Exhibit 13. It's evident. Exhibit 13, can you please do the same? Read that and then tell me where there's a direct threat in Exhibit 13.
There's a sign. It says justice for Burre rapes with what I think is oil and blood.
Exhibit 14, please read that, and let's do the same with that.
Yes?
Are you familiar with the picture in this report? I mean, this exhibit, the case report?
Yes.
And what is that a case report of?
I believe that's a report I filed around 11/16.
I don't have a copy for you. I'm not admitting this exhibit. I'm
Go
going to
ahead.
ask questions since you introduced it.
Go ahead.
Can you look at that, compare that, and see if that is the same case report that's referenced in the picture?
It seems to be.
And you know who made this report?
Whatever officer's on there.
And can you please look at that last paragraph? It's written by the officer, but he's paraphrasing the words. Can you read that, please?
The paragraph.
Yeah.
Principal Burre stated the Facebook post started after a football coach spoke at Derek's divorce court proceedings. Since the court proceedings, Derek made multiple Facebook posts regarding justice for fair wage and other signs says unlikes football drink parties. Kids have been raped. Principal Burre stated Derek has caused him mental anguish and the ORC of menacing by stalking, print on his desk. Principal Burre did not know officers were showing up at school to speak with him regarding the incident and had the ORC printed off to show Derek rating. Principal Burre stated Derek did not have business being in school due to him not picking up or dropping his kids off. Principal Burre said he wanted Derek to be trespassed from school property. Sergeant Sims also contacted Jerry about the trespass order, and Jerry also stated to trespass Derek.
Okay. And so to your knowledge, did they trespass him and tell him not to come to the school?
From my knowledge,
And they gave you,
Your Honor, can counsel back up from the witness, please? There's no reason why he needs to be right next to the witness right now.
Well, if you're done with that exhibit,
yeah, that's true. And can you,
are you still using the exhibit?
I'm not admitting an exhibit, it's that they entered it as.
I'm just saying, if you're referencing that, you can stand up there. If not, just stand there.
And to your knowledge, again, I'll go back, so, to your knowledge, they did trespass Mr. Ed, right?
what I believed to be told, yes.
And then they someone, if I remember correctly in here, gave you the statute for menacing by stalking. Is that correct? It's mentioned in here.
Correct. I printed it off myself.
Okay. And then, did the police arrest Mr. Utt for menacing by stalking?
Not to my knowledge.
And since that time, has Mr. Utt driven by the high school since he's been trespassed?
He was on school grounds last Tuesday.
How do you know he was on school grounds last Tuesday?
Our school resource officer had to remove him from school grounds.
And then why did you call the police and have him arrested for that if that's the case?
Because our school resource officer handled it.
Is the bike path considered part of the high school?
Probably not, but the spot where he was parked at was on our Lancaster High School campus where baseball field sits.
And how do you know where he was parked at?
School resource officer.
All right, we'll move on. And going back to Exhibit 14 that had the case report details on there, what about posting a case report is threatening to you and your wife?
The comments above, the fact he feels that I tried to have him arrested unsuccessfully, aggravated assault with a sexual motive, the fact that what he believes my intentions were.
And Exhibit 14 had 2 pages. Can you please look at the second page of Exhibit 14? Can you please point out to